why did I want to be a mechanical engineer, and why did I give up? So I'm thinking about this right now because a friend asked me why I'm not looking for mechanical engineering jobs, right? Because I applied to like a blue collar job with my friend in Germany because they give him like a bonus if he gets a friend inside or whatever, right? And that got me thinking about like, is college worth it? Why did I even start mechanical engineering in the first place? And it got me reflecting on that. So this video is saying these things. I've also talked about this in my story of my life video that is 1 hour and a half long, but obviously like maybe in less detail than I want to in this specific video about this specific topic. But still, maybe you can check it out if you want. So why did I want to be a mechanical engineer, right? I've always liked cars. Not sure why do I like cars. I mean, getting into the why of so many things is difficult. Maybe because I was exposed to like toy cars and I got obsessed with them. Maybe because I watched TV ads. My mom says that my first word, used to say sometimes that my first word was Renault, like the car brand Renault, because I saw an ad on TV, right, and I repeated the word, something like this. I don't know. I'm not sure if I misunderstood the story, but it's a story I've told many times on YouTube here. And yeah, I guess even though my parents have never been like engineers or whatever, right, and they have never worked on cars themselves, so I was not surrounded by cars in that sense. I did get toy cars and I liked them, and I got car books and that kind of stuff. So yeah, for some reason, I wanted to be a rally driver before that because of probably video games about rallying and all this. But after my hopes for that crashed because my parents didn't sign me up for rally school or whatever the fuck. I got it in my mind that I wanted to like design engines, right? If I cannot be the rally driver, at least let me be like the person who designs the cars or whatever the fuck, right? And for some reason, I got in my mind that I wanted to design engines for cars, right? Not sure exactly why, but it is the heart of the car after all, right? I have a thread here on Twitter of things that I like. And for example, this is a GIF from 2014 when I was 17, right? Right before joining college or choosing where to apply. And yeah, I liked to save like these kind of things. I like to see inside of the parts. I liked Legos, that kind of thing. I've always liked this kind of cutout view of things, right? Even though I wasn't super technical or whatever, or super hands-on, I did like it in theory, right? And for example, this book is a book from when I was a kid, and it had this kind of cutaway view of the cars. And yeah, I also had some Legos, not this exact set, but on many Legos there are like these kind of engine models, right? So you get kind of curious about how this engine works, and I don't know. So yeah, after that, I was kind of pretty set on being a mechanical engineer, right? I didn't even question out of these things, right? And I kind of figured out through browsing the web in English, if I recall correctly, right, that what I wanted to study was called mechanical engineering in English, right? I'm talking in English, but this is in English, right? And maybe because of Engineering Explained the channel, this channel, that as you can see has been making videos from a very long time ago, and then I just translated probably, like, he is a mechanical engineer, so I probably just translated mechanical engineer to Spanish, ingeniería mecánica, and just thought that's all right, without doing a lot of research about this. And this takes us to the why did I give up part, right? They're not doing a lot of research. I guess that, yeah, it was more kind of unrelated and harder than I thought, although I did well on some engine-related subjects. Some of these more core subjects, I wasn't as good at it as some other people, and I didn't seem to like get them as quick as some other people. And yeah, the subjects were kind of simplified in a way that made them more difficult. Right? Knowledge in engineering is very simplified and distilled in a way that I didn't expect or whatever. And yeah, it's like memorizing a lot of random shit that is unrelated, and learning some kind of procedures that you're not exactly really sure why they are there, or it's like they go over why they are there very quickly and you don't really understand it. I don't know. It's difficult in that sense. And the quality of the degree that I signed up for was kind of lower status, even though the degree wasn't really, I don't know, hard to tell. But I could tell, right, by the environment and by the teachers and how you how the teachers behaved, you could see that it was kind of a lower environment, right? It wasn't elite or whatever the fuck, right? It's not MIT, basically, right? And yeah, I talked about this in the story of my life, in this story of my life video, and in this podcast with Pretrat. In both of those videos, I talk more about what do I mean with this elite versus whatever environment. Then when it came time to do an internship or something like this, the taste I had of it, because I worked like 1 year and it was intern and it was R&D, so I know that not all engineering jobs are the same, blah, 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 right? But the taste of the work that I had was soul-sucking and purposeless, and I was unhappy there, right? I didn't like it. I didn't feel like I was doing useful things. Plus, I also didn't feel like I was learning useful things either, right? And so, I don't know, tied to this, it's like from then on, kind of the prospects of the work weren't really appealing, right? And even outside of this, I'll talk about this more on the story of my life video probably, but it's kind of like the prospects of the work weren't appealing, right? Some of these other experiences that I had, like being on a motorcycle racing team and as a kind of helper or whatever the fuck, also gave me like these two experiences gave me this kind of perspective, right? Either the work wasn't appealing, or the things that were appealing. For example, I did like being in that racing bike environment or whatever, even if I didn't feel like I fit in really, it was appealing to me, but that feeling of not fitting in, etc., was what made it feel kind of out of reach to me, I guess, right? So, yeah. There is this common saying, like there is always engineering work, and you will see every year, and like study STEM or like STEM, blah, blah, STEM always has jobs, and there's always like, you see on the paper every year, there is some article saying like engineers are needed, right? And people need engineers. And then you look at the actual job postings and all that shit, and it's like shit conditions, right? It's like a cashier on some fucking supermarket is making the same money as you, that kind of thing, right? So it's like, okay, they are needed, but it's like you can literally work as a cashier, and it's like you make more money, sacrifice, I don't know. It's like, yeah, you sacrifice. It makes sense if you think of it in a career perspective, because if you are like an engineer with a lot of experience, then it stops being like that, right? It's like an engineer with 10 years of experience does not make the same money as a cashier with 10 years of experience, obviously, right? But if I don't want that career, right, because I found it soul-sucking and I didn't find it appealing, and the ones that I found appealing seem out of reach, it's like I don't want to sacrifice like short-term money to get like XP there, right? I just rather make more short-term money and focus my, I guess, energy, creative energy, blah, 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 on other things, like for example, YouTube or these kind of creative things, than to get XP points in a career path that I don't want. I don't know. That was kind of my logic. And yeah, then the part where I don't find it, that I found appealing, but that it seems out of reach, it's like, for example, motorsport, or some other small-scale startups, that kind of thing. They seem to be like either you are well connected, right? So either you get along with some people in there and they can like loop you in, or they're looking for like more cracked profiles, right? So people who are like really talented, where the talent really shines, right? And I'm not a person whose talent in mechanical engineering really shines. So, and I'm also not well connected, right? So they feel like out of reach, right? I wouldn't be comfortable trying to force or trying to become more like better connected because I'm not talented enough to like back it up, right? If you can be outwardly and all like this, if you have like the talent and the work or whatever to back it up, but if you don't, it's like, I don't know, it's like you're a waste of space there. So I don't feel comfortable doing kind of that, pursuing that. That's why I gave up, right? So, to end the video, like, is it over? I did want to be a mechanical engineer. I said on the title that I give up, but do I give up forever my mechanical engineer aspirations or whatever? Not really, right? I still love cars. I still like learning about the engineering behind things. I don't think my degree was useless, even if it's like the cope excuse of like, I learned what I don't like about it, right? It is true, right? I did learn that there are some aspects that I didn't like about it, but maybe you could have, like maybe some other people could have learned from a YouTube video or something like this, but that I learned through like 7 years of engineering school. And yeah, even if I didn't enjoy the career path or whatever, I do still enjoy engineering and like learning about these things, right? But I don't think I will probably use the degree in the short term, right? In the long term, I do think that it will be beneficial to have this degree and this knowledge and these experiences for my future aspirations. For example, this dream that I have of like having a small maintainable connection of quirky, enjoyable cars, I think this benefits from having this engineering degree. For some reason, right? Because of the maintenance, because of, I don't know, the choice of the cars that one makes from being an engineer and learning the degree like that. I don't know. I think it's all a combination of all things, and I think that is a part of me that is in, I guess, that I do care about, and that will be useful, right? Or maybe it helps to be an engineer when you have to like repair some crazy things, right? If you have a museum, right? Maybe dealing with old cars, this will, and by the time that I have this shit, I will like they will be properly old cars, probably, right? So you probably have to do some fabrication, and it helps being an engineer when you have to like homologate stuff, right? To make stuff legal for your country and to pass kind of regulations, or to like convert this from a regular car to like a classic car, this kind of thing, right? It probably will help. It's my gut story. So even if I don't get hired by anyone as an engineer because I don't have experience, when I'm that, I will be able to say, I'm an engineer, right? I can do these kind of repairs, right? And because it's for a museum, I don't know. And I will be the person who deals with the responsibility, obviously, but because it's not like production cars in a Ford company or whatever, like, I don't know, it's like, who gives a fuck? If I fuck it up, not that I will do it correctly, but like, it's like there are no kind of big figures who will judge me on that, and it will be just like my little museum and my little things, right? And on my term, like the little engineering that I can do on my terms, that kind of thing. Yeah, I also think that maybe it will become useful in the shorter term, right? Maybe in like a couple of years, I get tired of fucking lifting boxes in an airport or whatever the fuck, and I say, fuck that, I'm taking an engineering job, right? And maybe I take the short-term engineer money because the physical conditions are better, or because I want a different time, different schedule or stuff like that, or because I want to go into computers and the engineering degree helps me out a little bit in kind of tying the story up for that kind of thing, right? I don't know. That is basically why I don't think it's truly over for my engineering, but those are my thoughts. And if you like this video, maybe you like the story of my whole life, it's up there, you can check it out, and